You are listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, along with my good buddy Dan. Dan, we are still looking for that first victory pod of the year, but how you doing?
It's all good, man. Don't even worry about it. We're not gonna fret. We're not gonna fret. We're gonna be fine.
Must not be on Cauldron Facebook or Reddit.
No, why would you ever be on there?
That's a good
Do
question.
people go on there?
Well, some people do.
Oh boy, that is just easy. Why? Do you care about your happiness at all?
Yeah, I mean, people that are on there don't. So,
What's important to you in this life? Happiness and probably money. None of that extra stuff.
yeah, not being too online, although sometimes I am. So,
Yeah, but you're not going down rabbit holes, getting mad and having like rants with people, stuff like that. Maybe you do sometimes.
I did for a while. I would get. I'm pretty good about not getting in arguments with people.
Well
at
done.
this point.
That's called growth.
Yeah,
I love it.
I haven't started an argument with an opposing fan base from the podcast account in a long time.
Yeah, you're right. That does feel weird. We should get on that.
Yeah, well, St. Louis is pushing my buttons sometimes. So,
Nah, you can't fight with the Supporters Shield leaders, man.
oh my God.
What are you gonna do? That you tell it like it is. That's who they are.
They are. Yeah, they somehow keep getting gifted goals over and over again. But hey,
Yeah, it's a Supporters Shield leader, my friend. I just throwing middle fingers up nonchalantly. So
yeah, there you go. Well, we got a game to talk about. We played the LA Galaxy. It was a scoreless draw, so that might seem like there was not any level of excitement in the game, but it actually was a pretty interesting game. I think there's some key takeaways to learn from this game, and some, not to sound like a broken record, but there are some positives that are yet to be had from this game, even if we are still looking for our first goal of the year. But yeah, we did get a new review. I know you weren't here last time we got a new review. Kevin was here and he got to witness the reading of the review, but I know it's a thing you like to do. So you want to read for the people what was said about us?
thing I like to do. Yes, quit replacing you with Kevin. That'd be nice.
It was just one time.
It still stings. Yeah, no, you gotta do what you gotta do. I appreciate Kevin filling in. Hey, Nate Borland left us a review. This sounds like someone we know. For some reason, the name sounds very familiar. I'm going to do a little research here in a bit and figure out why. Maybe we're best friends and we don't know it. Nate says, great listen, 5 stars. These guys provide honest commentary and opinions on the latest happening around KC soccer. No other pod is my go-to listen during the week. Really enjoy their views on all things SKC and beyond. Well, Nate, we enjoy you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
That's big time. If you've yet to leave a review, what are you waiting on? What are you doing?
Leave that 5-star rating review. We appreciate it. We'll read it here on air. And shout out to Tristan Jordan, one of our listeners. He's been around for a while. He saw me as I was walking into the stadium, and he was like, "Hey, are you Jimmy?" And I was like, "I am." And he was like, "Tristan Jordan." I was like, "I know you from Twitter." So appreciate that. Appreciate him coming up, saying hi.
That's the world these days, bro. I know you from online. I know you from Call of Duty. We make friends this way.
We've talked about this on this pod before.
Yeah.
You and I followed each other on Twitter before we actually knew each other.
I know.
So.
Mine was like, man, this redheaded guy has a really big head. I should probably follow him.
Probably.
And no, he said, "Oh boy." That is not.
It's but it is interesting because I remember. I know I've said this before, but I remember the first time we actually talked, you were the one who was brave enough to be like, "Hey, I think we follow each other on Twitter." And I was like, "Yeah, we do," because I'm never that guy. I'm always too shy. I'm not gonna. I'm always that guy who's like awkward, and it's like, yeah, we know who each other are. We might have said something back and forth online, but in person, no, we don't do that. Something
I've changed, bro. I'm not that guy anymore. I would never do that anymore.
You'd be like,
I ain't talking to you, man. I sit there and I'm so in my own thoughts about stuff, Sagittarius, overthinking shit. I mean, that's what we do.
Okay.
But that's great. That's weird. That's weird that I was like, let me go make a friend, because now I'm like, no, got enough friends.
No more friends.
No more friends.
I have too many. No, it was good. And look where we are now.
look where we are now. Big time, dude. Big KCSN brand. Big, KC Soccer scope. Man, I've been talking to some people, dude, and I plug our stuff wherever I go. And if someone's like their kid plays soccer or something, they're like, well, what do you do outside of work or whatever? What's your hobbies? Obviously, I got theater stuff going on. And I mentioned the 2 podcasts I do.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'll give it a listen. I'm like, yeah, not with your kids. You don't need to. How old are your kids?
With your kids.
High school? Maybe that's fine.
I did have a cool interaction. So many of you probably know what Discord is. It's a place where you can get in different topical chats about, and there's different channels or whatnot. If you use Slack for work, it's kind of like Slack, but Discord is a place where I'm in a number of different servers about different interests and whatnot. And I did have somebody who messaged me and was like, hey, what's your podcast? Got a lot of driving time, coming up in the next month, and would love to give it a listen. So I told him about it, and then got a message about, a month or so ago, and it was like, hey, listen to some episodes, really like it. Haven't followed MLS in a while, but think I'm going to become an SKC fan and switch my allegiance from the LA Galaxy. So now we got a new listener and we got a new fan.
We was converted an LA person?
Apparently.
Oh, snap. That's high. Wow. That's better than a 5-star review. Sorry, Nate Boylan.
Yeah. No, they said they were a Galaxy fan dating back to the days of Kobe Jones.
Oh, wow.
So.
How neat is that?
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty fun. So, speaking of the Galaxy, we took them on, and it was a game.
It was a bloodbath.
I mean, honestly, man, it started. I know. I don't think you were able to watch live because you were being a famous actor.
I saw bits and pieces of the second half, and and then of course I watched the highlight package. Has been pretty legit. About 6.5 minutes they've been doing these highlight packages, but it's buddy, to take away from this, I think I gotta echo Peter Vermees when I say, do you only listen to me when I answer your questions? No.
No, poor Daniel Sperry.
Daniel Sperry, I love you. But Peter was not happy, and they absolutely left that in when they posted the video of the press conference online.
It was, yeah.
What I would mean, though, I echo Peter Vermees when he said, I'm excited about our team, because I truly am, too. You were texting me saying, like, there's been really good moments. Yes, it's scoreless, but we look like it really shouldn't be scoreless. Now, that sucks, right? That sucks, because tell me if you heard that before. 2022, like, that's how it started, right? But you got Johnny chomping at the bit, dude, just ready to come in and get hungry, just ready to go. And you got Alan Polito probably doing something. I don't know where he's at.
I mean, I honestly thought he was going to make an appearance in this last game. I was a little surprised he wasn't available for selection. Yeah. But I give it a week, 2 at most, and I would bet money that Alan Polito is going to see some game action.
I bet so, man. And these are reinforcements. You got that center back coming in as well, that Colombian center back, and
Danny Rosero.
I about said Danny Flores. That's another person. I feel so excited, especially because of these opportunities, dude. We're talking like Roger was putting stuff on frame. Eric Tommy was just being Eric Tommy.
Yeah.
Who is this man? Eric Tommy is hungry.
He's leading the league in key passes, which
is he?
KC is also leading the league in key passes, by the way. So everybody
passes don't get you 3 points, though. And I know we're all like, where's our 3 points? We need 3 points. And it's a lot, man. We want the wins.
You're right. They don't get you 3 points. And, the starting lineup was essentially the same. Couple of minor adjustments. We had Kyrie Shelton back at the right wing instead of Marino Janis. And we had Tim Leibold at left back, who was starting for the first time in place of Ben Sweat. And I don't know how much you got to see actually of Tim Leibold, but I was very impressed. I think people came in with high expectations about Tim Leibold, trying to figure out, is this going to be really our first consistent left back starter that we've had really since Seth Sinovic left the team a few years ago? And Tim Leibold has been praised by Peter Vermees. He came over from Germany. He's somebody that I think they had pretty high expectations for, and it's just been a matter of, can he be game fit? Are they able to get him to a place where he can be close to 90 minutes fit. And he's looking, I think he played 60-ish minutes. No, he played a full 77 minutes before he was subbed out for Ben Sweat. He looked very tired, but Leibold not only looks good defensively, which we know is sometimes Ben Sweat's liability, but he was willing to get up in the attack. And as Peter Vermees said, not just get up in the attack in that he's just running up. He's actually moving into good spots on the field, finding space, and actually adding a new element to the attack on that left side.
That's amazing. I'm not sure if you saw me just now. My mic, my freaking mic stand was like about to fall off of the desk and like crumble on me. So I was like,
that was a filibuster.
I need to tighten some shit here. It was not going to be okay.
I like Leibold, and I'm happy to talk about Leibold. I didn't intend to go on that long about him, but he was.
He looks strong.
If you go back and you watch a replay of the game, watch Leibold, especially because this is his third game, his third appearance with this team. He's still learning. But I asked Daniel Shalloway about it after, and he's like, I'm really excited to continue to build that chemistry because he looks like somebody who we might be able to have a real attacking threat coming up that left side. So between him and Zusi, it's a couple of attacking fullbacks that you can get excited about.
It's a lot, man. Tim Leibold looks like he slots right in there. Looks pretty exciting. Was not afraid to push that ball forward.
Not at all. Neither is Robbie Volader at times, by the way. This dude's running forward with the ball like he's a central attacking midfielder.
Dude needs to relax and realize that he's not.
Okay, 1 goal through 3 games. The first goal came from a Ben Sweat error 10 minutes into the first game. So that's, 260 minutes now of scoreless shutout soccer that this defense and John Polskamp have put up. We know that Peter Vermees is not one to just tinker with things just for the heck of it. I think we all thought maybe Danny Rosero was going to come in and take Robert Volader's spot as the starting center back. Once he gets here, he's still awaiting his P1 visa. But if Volader continues to play pretty well, I think he's getting a little bit better every game. He's still good for one pretty major mental gaffe every game. But I could see Volader continuing to lock down that center back position until something changes and the defense isn't performing as well as they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Peter likes to do, right? If things are fine, but it's like, as long as you're not giving up goals, that's the name of the game. Defense is doing their job.
Yeah.
So, but we're also not scoring goals in the last 3 games. So, Portland is one you can throw away and be like, okay, we let one in. That was such a mistake. You take that away, and there's 3 shutouts in a row, and that's pretty freaking impressive.
It is. Defensively, it's very impressive. John Polskamp continues to impress. There's no question about it anymore. John Polskamp is the number 1 goalkeeper for Sporting Kansas City. And it's weird
right?
Because Timilia, I think, it still has the ability to be a solid keeper. There's no way John Polskamp's given up this job right now. It's it.
No, that's just what it is, man. And it's we hate change. You hate to see like someone you like be sidelined or whatever for someone else, but it's like, you know what? I think it's time to embrace this young man who's busting his butt out there.
Yeah. And this is going to be a little bit of a different thing for Sporting KC or even the Kansas City Wizards in terms of goalkeeper, because if you think of some of the keepers we've had, whether it be Tony Miola, Jimmy Nielsen, Tim Melia, those are sort of the 3 big keepers in the history of Sporting KC. They didn't necessarily come in being a young guy starting out their career. They were either already established or they were later in their career in the case of Melia, where he started to hit it big in Sporting KC, but there was never really a threat of Tim Melia sort of attracting overseas attention. John Polskamp's 22. Young goalkeepers can garner pretty big transfer fees nowadays. If Polskamp puts together a year in any sort of semblance of the way he's played over the last 10 games of last year and the first 3 games of this year, and then continues that into next year, we might be in an interesting position where Sporting Kansas City has a center back that is a 8-figure sale overseas somewhere in Europe.
Could even be looking at a national team thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. But the defense is playing very well. Remy Voltaire continues to play very well. He played defensive midfielder. We did finally see Nemanja Radoja check into the game a little bit. It was interesting. I think we all assumed Nemanja Radoja would slide back into that defensive midfielder role when he checked in. He did not. He played in that number 8 position. Remy Voltaire stayed in the number 6. But as you know, Remy told us, surprised me, I don't know if it surprised you at Media Day, he prefers playing the 6. So it'll be interesting. Maybe we see how that goes, but excited to see some of the new faces that are starting to check in for Sporting KC. So I do want to talk about the attack a little bit more, because even though there are no goals scored yet, I think there are some things to look forward to. But before we do that, we're going to throw to a break real quick, and we'll be right back to talk about the attack. All right, my friend, let's talk about the Sporting Kansas City attack, because that is what all the discourse is about online. And I don't think it's all doom and gloom the way people think it is. And we've mentioned this a couple times now, but I keep seeing the talking point of, this is the exact same problems we had last year. This is just the same team with no solutions as we had last year. Injuries just like we had last year. This is different, right? I know we've talked about this, and we played that soundbite from Peter, but don't you think this is not the same situation, even with no goals scored so far, that we were in last year in terms of attacking players and injuries?
It certainly feels different. I can see where the frustration's coming from.
Sure.
These are different players. Everyone's like, where's Willie Agata? Is he the same person? And it's like, yeah, he's the same person. I mean, do you see how open he gets on corner kicks? He gets in great positioning. How? How are they not guarding him? Yet he gets every time and gets ahead on the ball. Not every striker does that. The best strikers do that. Yeah. And if Willie Agata was finishing this shit, holy moly. Yeah. Danger, dude. Like, he'd be dangerous. But then Eric Tommy going wild. It just, everything feels different.
Mm-hmm.
And for God's sakes, man, it is March. It is the middle of March.
3 games.
3 games. So what? We got 2 points, 2 draws, and a loss against Portland. And everyone wants to talk about rankings. Well, we lost, we tied a number 12 team and a number 13 team and lost to a number 8 or whatever. And it's like, what do these rankings mean? That if you're saying that means you are agreeing that St. Louis is the absolute best team in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting stock in rankings after 3 games, then you are saying St. Louis is the best team. Get the hell out of here. You can't say that.
Yeah, it's wild. And as I mentioned, there are things to be excited about. Eric Tommy leads the league in key passes with 11 key passes. The next best player has 9. Kansas City in general leads the league in key passes at 48. The next best team is Atlanta, 36. We have 12 more key passes, a full 33% more key passes than the second place team.
People are going to look at you and be like, okay, so we're good at passing. What does that do? How does that get us goals and points?
I mean,
it
doesn't, but key passes, it's not like people make the talking point of, well, it's just all we do, we just have possession between the center backs. It doesn't matter if you have a 90% passing percentage, if it's just the center backs going back and forth. No, a key passes. This is from Stats Perform. A key pass is the final pass or the pass leading to the shot, or the pass that leads to the shot that the recipient who attempted the attempt on goal ended up taking. So it's essentially the pass leading to the goal. It can be an assist if they convert it into an actual goal, or it's a pass that could potentially lead to a goal. Sporting, what that tells me, despite what people may think, is if you look at what the advanced stats are saying, Sporting Kansas City are actually putting the ball in good positions. It's the end product that we're still looking for. Johnny Russell coming back will help with that. Alan Polito coming back will help with that. Willie Agata was significantly better this last game. If you look at how connected he was in the game, he was a little bit farther back. He had a pretty strong connection, especially between him and Daniel and him and Tommy. A lot more involved in this game. So there's things I'm excited about.
I mean, you got to go now. Now you got to go play your 3rd away game in 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go down to Dallas, and it's like, again, you hope you get a result on the road. I don't know how good Dallas is this year. I don't know how good anyone is this year right now. I think we all just need to relax and trust this process. And we were the first ones last year to say, all right, well, it's almost June. We're pretty fucked. Like, our hole's getting deeper. You know what I mean? So let's hold the phone and let's hold the judgment for now.
Yeah. Dallas, they drew with Vancouver 1-1 last week, although the goal that Vancouver got was an own goal off of Dallas. So take that for a grain of salt. They did beat the Galaxy 3-1 the game before that.
That could be a fluke.
Yeah. And then they lost to Minnesota in the season opener 0-1 at home. So Dallas, not great, not the worst, probably a low mid-level table team. Definitely points for the taking. So
they've always frustrated us in the past. They've always been, pretty high attacking, high caliber, exciting soccer. Yeah, with little to no fans. But it's these are every game's important, right? It's not saying like these are not important games right now. Every game matters, and I'm sure the players are frustrated, dude. We're not the only ones. The players have got to be mad, even though Peter's like, you all need to shake it off. You played great. Because they're not here for moral victories. They're here for goals. And God damn it, if I didn't want Roger to get a goal after saying that he was going to score a goal. And damn it, he tried.
He did. He called his shot. Man, let me tell you, I was sitting up there in the press box. I was getting ready to cut that sound and tweet it out from the pod so fast of Roger calling his shot because he had a header that just about made it in there. He also had a weird, fluky, looping kick that went about 35 yards up in the air. And from my vantage point, for a split second, looked like the keeper might have crossed the line with the ball. And I was like, I swear to God, if that was the way we scored our first goal, was this looping ball up in the air that the keeper catches and then just backs up over the line in an absent-minded error, it would have been hilarious.
Amazing.
But it's not what happened. As you said, Peter said he was incredibly excited about the game. He said he thought it was 30 shots, 66 entries into the final third, and 48 actions inside the box. So like we said, we're getting there. Johnny Russell's probably not going to play in this Dallas game. He's still a little bit away. Maybe Polito is.
Can we get a little behind-the-scenes reenactment of what Daniel Sperry's face was when Peter said that?
I was sitting directly behind Daniel Sperry, so I didn't actually see his face. For those who haven't heard the press conference, Sperry asked a good question about Radoya and Voltaire and why they didn't switch. Peter had just kind of mentioned it as part of an answer to a separate question earlier. So when Sperry asked again, poor Sperry, I felt my chest tighten the second the question started because I was just like, oh no, it could have been worse. Peter could have gone in a little bit more. So
he did say, glad I could be redundant. And I went,
poor Sperry.
Oh no.
Hey, he owned it after. He was like, I deserved it. So good on him for being a good sport. But I'm excited to see this team now get back on the road, have a little bit more of an opportunity to play against a traditionally difficult team for Sporting Kansas City. You got sort of the jitters of the home opener out of the way. So there's that. Now just go on the road, see if you can get a result. Yep. If we don't win, people, don't panic. It's a road game in MLS. I mean, if we come away with a draw, you think that's okay, right?
The draw's fine, sure. None of this is must-win situations right now. You know what I mean? So let's just relax. It's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. But damn it, if I don't think we do get a win here. I mean,
we're calling it.
Yeah, I mean, why not? There's got to be a goal here somewhere, man. You can tell the frustration's there. You're not going to fire 30 shots, 11 on goal, and not be a little mad about that. So you think they're not going to come out and do the same freaking thing?
Well, and what's interesting this year because of the Apple deal is opposing coaches are coming out and doing a press conference now too. So it's not just Peter we heard from Greg Vanny, the LA Galaxy coach. Nobody in Kansas City asked questions. A lot of the LA Galaxy reporters asked questions on Zoom. But Vanny was very, very clear. He was like, our midfield got severely outplayed by Sporting Kansas City.
Hell yeah.
Very good team. They were a better team. We're probably lucky we got out of here with a point. So
he knows, man. That's the thing. We only really seek out players and Peter and what they're saying. But take a minute to listen to what the other coaches say sometimes, because That's real shit.
Mhm.
Saying we're lucky to even have a point. Like, he knows.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably like, our keeper's lucky that they fired 6 of their 11 shots right at him. He didn't have to work too terribly hard.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. There's just, I don't want to sound like I'm just being sort of, defensive for the club or whatnot, but I just think
What are you, on payroll?
there are things that you can be excited about. Willie Agata listened to Peter Vermees. He got more involved in this game. He dropped back, had a significant better hold-up play, was more involved in the game plan. It's interesting. I was asking him questions. I think, was it Daniel Sperry who was with me when we were asking questions? I think it might have been. I asked Agata a couple questions. He stared at Sperry the entire time that he was answering the questions. Wouldn't look at me. So I don't know.
So he doesn't like you.
Well, he dapped me up again, and he was like, "What's up, bro?" And we hugged and whatnot. And so,
but maybe you have weird, like, secret eyes that he's like, I can't look at this man because he's making weird eyes at me.
Maybe there's something, gingers don't have souls, so maybe he's just like, I can't look at you.
Oh, no. Oh, no, he's prejudiced.
No, that's not.
Oh, no.
Quoting South Park there, but it's hey, I'm excited. He was like, when a coach like Peter Vermees tells you what to do, you should listen, and it improved my play in this game. He had that chance off his left foot. Left foot's just not his stronger foot, so that's why it sailed over the goal. But it's coming.
It's coming, dude.
Daniel Shallowy said, I think it's just a matter of the first goal, and then it's going to all click after that. So
yeah,
you're calling your shot with a victory in Dallas.
All a victory, dude. We gotta get this puppy to the bridge.
Okay, we'll do it. Well, there's no Barrios in Dallas anymore to annoy us. So
no Marco Barrios, and we'll it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. We're gonna kick it to another break here real quick. But then when we get back, we'll talk about what else happened around the league and MLS, and this controversy with the U.S. Soccer Federation will not go away. So we'll talk about that after.
Come on back.
All right, my friend.
Magnificent.
There was a series of other games that happened around the league this past week. I don't know how much of it you got to watch, really, because I know you're a very, very busy man. But there were some interesting results. Atlanta kicked the crap out of Charlotte, really just in the first half. It was 3-0 at halftime. They ended up winning 3-0. Nashville beat Montreal 2-1. Austin beat Salt Lake 2-1. St. Louis beat Portland 2-1. And maybe that's the most interesting one, as you mentioned, because St. Louis has now 3 wins in their first 3 games, 9 points. I think a lot of people maybe thought that they weren't going to be a playoff team, but if you get 9 points through your first 3 games, and with how many teams in MLS make the playoffs, it's probably pretty likely at this point that St. Louis is going to make the playoffs unless they just totally derail. So as somebody who they're probably going to become a chief rival for Sporting Kansas City, how are you feeling seeing St. Louis perform as well or get as lucky as they have been so far through the first 3 games?
Dude, how am I feeling? They just won their first 3 games, one against the team we lost to, and we have to play them 3 times this year.
Yeah.
We go like, not feeling good. It sucks. You want to freaking hate on these people. Little brother, give him a noogie, shove him in the couch, lock him in the hide-a-bed, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's a thing, by the way. I did that one time. My brother didn't like it.
You locked him in the hide-a-bed?
Yeah, bro. He told me to. He's like, fold me up into the
very dangerous.
He told me to fold him up into the hide-a-bed, so I put him in the couch. He was in the couch. We're talking like, Doug Funny type shit. And then I sat on the couch, and he was like, let me out. And I was like, nah, man, you part of the couch now. And he was like, let me out. And Mom's like, where's your brother? I was like, I have no idea. And I'm like, couch is talking, though.
The couch is, I don't know, check the couch.
It was bad, because I think he couldn't breathe in there, so about died. That all
great. Don't lock people in hide-a-beds or refrigerators.
Told me to kill him. What are you going to do?
Yeah, well, I don't know if that defense would hold up in court.
It wouldn't, but I was a child, so probably no court.
I didn't fight with St. Louis's fan base this week, but I did annoy them, apparently, because when MLS Communications tweeted out that St. Louis City joins the Seattle Sounders as the only expansion club in MLS history to win each of their first 3 games, all I simply said was the way they're winning is not sustainable.
Oh, boy.
I didn't say they're bad. I didn't say they're going to start falling off. I just said the way that they're winning is not sustainable. They're going to have to figure out another way to win. That didn't sit well with St. Louis fans. And I didn't argue. There were other people that were really kind of arguing. All I said was, hey, they're significantly outscoring their expected goals. They're going to come back, regress to the mean at some point. That's just a little fluky. It ended up with some St. Louis fan arguing with a Sporting Kansas City fan in my mentions. And the St. Louis fan said that St. Louis already has the best fan base in MLS.
Oh, boys, here we go. Here we go.
It's we thought Austin was annoying last year. They still are.
How'd they win? How'd they win this last game? How'd it go? The St. Louis game.
Deflections, got really lucky in the box where they just kind of
same shit.
Basically. Like they weren't directly past the ball, but just really poor defensive effort.
So they're not putting together routine goals or anything.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Huh.
So it's just, I don't have the data in front of me right at this moment, but if you go look up American Soccer Analysis, their data, you can see how many more goals they've scored, than their expected goals. For example, when they beat Charlotte 3-1 last week, they only had 1.59 expected goals. They doubled their expected goals output. That's not sustainable over a 34-game season.
Well, sometimes soccer needs a little luck too,
Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes it does, and it is. And I think that's what Roger has said about Sporting Kansas City. I would rather play well and have these early results the way they are than play poor and win because you can't keep that up over a long season. And I think these two clubs are sort of in different spots with that. I'm not saying St. Louis is bad. I think they're going to be probably better than people thought. Santa Claus, as I call him, his name is Joao Klaus, but I call him Santa Claus. He looks like a legitimate striker, but let's all just chill out a little bit on St. Louis. So
you can't be sharing stuff like that, buddy. People will come for you.
Well, if St. Louis fans want to come for me, they know where to find me. It's fine. I'm online.
Oh, jeez.
I'm online. Outside of that game, Seattle lost to Cincinnati 1-0 on the road. That might have impacts later, but then LAFC just whooped New England 4-0 on Sunday. So
good deal.
LAFC continues to look like they are probably the cream of the crop in MLS right now.
They're a pretty good deal. Pretty big favorites to repeat.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Outside of MLS, really the big thing that's happening. Well, before we move on to that, I do want to just say it was announced Marinos Giannis is going to join the Cyprus national team. I don't know if you saw this. He'll be with them March 25th against Johnny Russell's Scotland, who I doubt Johnny Russell will be with Scotland, considering he's just coming back from an injury. That's probably not going to happen. And then they will face Armenia in a friendly on March 28th. But of course, what this means is Marinos Giannis he will certainly not be available for the March 25th game against the Seattle Sounders.
That's all right. That's okay.
So
I'm not saying we can afford to lose him. I'm just saying that he's not currently playing a pivotal role in this team.
No, he's not. So that's a week from Saturday. That's probably the earliest Johnny Russell could be back. I don't know that they're going to rush him back necessarily. It might just be the Kyrie show that weekend, which I'm sure people will love.
I don't hate that either, man. Kyrie looked freaking great last week.
He looked fine. Yeah,
fine. He looked great, man. Winning all his battles and shit.
He did win open. He's still hesitant in the box. Now, there's one I think people are being a little too harsh on him for, because a Galaxy defender got to the ball before he really could have had a true shot on goal, because I was about to roast him too, but I don't think he really could have gotten there. But Kyrie's not as bad as people are making him out to be, that's for sure. So we know that we won't have Giannis that day, and then we do now know the group stage schedule for the Leagues Cup. We will host FC Cincinnati Sunday, July 23rd. We will play FC Cincinnati Sunday, July 23rd at TQL Stadium. We will host Chivas Guadalajara at Children's Mercy Park on Monday, July 31st. So Alan Pulido's old club making their way to Kansas City. But we'll see how we feel about Leagues Cup when we get to Leagues Cup. Right now, don't know if I care.
I care a little bit. It's kind of neat.
A little bit. We'll see. Depends how the season's going.
Free games.
But the big news was this U.S. Soccer report about the incident that happened with the Reyna family and Greg Berhalter. For those of you who aren't aware, you can go look up everything that happened.
Oh, yeah.
But essentially,
Claudio Reyna doesn't like women, so there's that.
well, we're going to talk about that here in a second because he's getting called out, rightfully so. But as of this recording, he's still employed by Austin FC, so that's wonderful. But the Reynas, Gio Reyna, one of the most promising players for the U.S. men's national team, he plays for Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga. His parents, who Claudio Reyna, his dad, was a prominent U.S. men's soccer player in his day. Claudio and Gio's mom, Danielle, apparently made veiled threats about exposing a domestic violence incident from 30 years ago involving Greg Berhalter and his then girlfriend, now wife. You can go read up about it. I'm sure many of you know about it. Well, U.S. Soccer Federation hired an outside firm to do an independent report. The independent report came out. You can read U.S. Soccer's full statement on their Twitter, but basically what they said is, hey, we interviewed the situation with Greg Berhalter and the domestic violence incident. That's really a settled matter. There's nothing we can get involved with about that now. If it happened now, it'd be a different story, but it happened 30 years ago. It's a settled matter. Greg is still a candidate for future jobs with U.S. men's national team. But they said that the Reynas acted disrespectfully, that they weren't cooperative with the investigation, and that they will be reviewing the parental code of conduct based on how this went. So it's not great. And there's some pretty damning quotes here.
I was reading that the wife, Danielle, you said her name is?
Yes.
That she said that Greg Berhalter beat the shit out of his wife in an alley. Like, quote, beat the shit out of her. And I was like, what the fuck? And there's no evidence of that at all. I thought it was like he kicked her in a bar or something.
He kicked her in the shins or something like that.
Yeah, kicked her in the shins, like
he tried to apologize, and he made a mixtape. That was in the report. He made her a mixtape.
But I wouldn't call that beating the shit out of someone.
No. Well, we also know, so Danielle Reyna, this was a quote from before this report came out. She said, I want to be very clear. I did not ask for Greg to be fired. I did not make any threats, and I don't know about any blackmail attempts. Well, here is something that the report exposed in a message to an unnamed U.S. soccer employee from the very same Danielle Reyna. She said, quote, once this tournament is over, I can make one phone call and give one interview, and his cool sneakers and bounce passes will be gone. That sure sounds like a threat, and like she wants Greg Berhalter to be fired and potentially like blackmail.
Holy cow, man. You guys, you know the term, she's giving soccer moms a terrible name.
That's the thing. Soccer parents don't have a great reputation. These are like the ultimate soccer parents in terms of just being way too involved in their kid's life.
Most soccer moms have a Dodge Caravan. She probably like drives a Mercedes.
Yeah. It's bad. I mean, if you go on Twitter, you can find a lot of different people who are sort of detailing the report. A couple of the takeaways, both Claudio and Danielle Reyna were unwilling to participate in the investigation. Claudio Reyna was unwilling to participate in the investigation. Danielle had 2 brief phone calls.
Wonder why.
They both made threats to U.S. soccer employees about releasing the damaging information. Claudio said to the then general manager of the U.S. men's national team, Brian McBride, you guys don't even know what we know about Greg.
Oh, boy.
And so
he wipes back to front.
An unnamed U.S. soccer employee characterized Mr. Reyna's historical outreach as, quote, inappropriate, bullying, and mean-spirited.
See, hold on. What do you know about Greg? Now I'm just interested. Spill it then, fucking coward.
This is what they were going to say. They were going to say he kicked his wife 30 years ago.
Okay, well, big deal, I guess. She must have forgiven him, and they moved past it, because guess what? She married him.
Yeah, here's the exact quote that you said, just to be fair. Danielle did not witness the incident, but described it to Ernie Stewart on December 11th as, quote, Greg beat the living shit out of her in a back alleyway.
Didn't witness it. See, this is that, he said, that's that telephone game. You start telling stories and stuff, and people start thinking different things. You didn't see shit.
Right. And at that time, Ernie Stewart did the correct thing and immediately reported it to the U.S. soccer legal team. So,
what about Claudio Reyna not liking women referees? What is that?
Here's the kicker. In an email.
The kicker? That's Greg.
No pun intended.
He's the kicker.
Didn't mean to do that. In an email in 2018, Claudio complained about a female referee in a match that Gio played in. He said, quote, "In all honesty, can we get real and have male refs for a game like this? It's embarrassing, guys. What are we trying to prove? A game like this deserves better attention."
Oh boy. Oh, can we get the vaginas out of the freaking field? What the hell is this? What's the problem?
It's bad. It's bad. It's misogynistic. It's sexist.
100%.
We've now had the PSRA, the Professional Soccer Referees Association, come out and make a statement. Their tweet says, "Mr. Reyna's sexist and misogynistic comments about female referees are deplorable. The PSRA considers his actions disqualifying for employment in MLS and beyond. MLS cannot provide a haven for Mr. Reyna's opinions while also celebrating the quality and diversity of its own officials," which is 100% correct.
Man, you just wait till there's like an all-women officiating crew for an Austin FC game and calls just don't go the right way.
I mean, I don't know what I'm expecting. I'm not necessarily looking for moral guidance from Anthony Precourt, who stole the team in the dead of night from the city of Columbus and took them to Austin. But the fact that he has not yet fired Claudio Reyna from his position with Austin FC is pretty shocking, at least at the time of this recording.
Well, he's trying to see if the buzz dies down. And I don't think anyone should let it die down, because you're saying, you're flat out saying that a woman cannot do this job as good as a man.
Mm-hmm.
You're flat out saying that.
It's bad.
And I disagree, dude. Like, wholeheartedly.
Right. It's really bad.
I don't see the difference, I guess. I mean, whatever. I'm just mad at this dude. What a freaking... These people are terrible parents and terrible people.
Well, and they're not getting it because then they had their agent release a statement that basically just doubled down on everything and said this is only part of the story. It's one-sided. You had an opportunity to tell your side. You refused to participate. So,
you said I didn't want to participate in the investigation. Oh, but it's all one-sided. Well, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
Because you declined. But what about this misogyny thing? Has he said anything more about that?
No, they haven't. They haven't said anything about that.
I don't like that. That's more damaging in my mind than this Greg Berhalter thing.
Yeah, the investigators said, quote, "We were impressed with Mr. Berhalter's candor and demeanor during the investigation. We were less than impressed with the Reyna's cooperation during the investigation."
Oh, you think?
So, this is... it's just embarrassing, man, and I don't know what it means going forward. Greg Berhalter's probably not going to be the coach of the U.S. men's national team. U.S. Soccer was very, I think, intentional in their statement, how they said Greg Berhalter has not been disqualified for any position and is still a candidate to be the coach of the U.S. men's soccer team going forward, but first we're going to fill our sporting director position. I don't think he probably will come back. I think it would be a mistake to bring him back. I think he shouldn't have come back for soccer reasons, but I think it's going to be hard to bring him back just for... This won't go away, really. And that sucks because no matter what happens to Claudio Reyna and Daniel Reyna, ultimately they're probably going to get what they want, and Greg Berhalter's not going to be the coach of the U.S. men's national team, even if they get what they want for different reasons.
They'll get what they want. The rich get richer. The bad people become worse people. Like, nothing changes here. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not defending Greg Berhalter. Like, sounds like he did some fucked up shit.
Sure.
But like, well, it's all just trash, dude. And we got the World Cup coming to America.
That's the sad part, is this should be an exciting time. That FIFA's just talking about what the schedule's going to look like for the next few years.
Yeah.
This should be the most exciting time in U.S. soccer history.
As a fan, I don't get to get excited. I got to read all this stuff.
Right. And I said something to this effect on Twitter. I don't remember exactly what I said, but like, you don't have to pick an extreme side here. You can say, I don't think Greg Berhalter should be the coach of the U.S. men's national team anymore without defending the Reynas. You don't have to say, oh, the Reynas were right, Greg shouldn't be coached, because what they did is disgusting and deplorable. But that doesn't mean I also have to sit here and be like, Greg should be rehired.
Yeah, I'm not forced to choose a side here. I'm actually saying everyone's a piece of shit.
Right.
Like,
but it seems like the discourse online is just like, everybody's trying to pick a side. So like, let's all take a deep breath.
we can hate all of them, everybody. We can hate all of them that make too much money for the work they do. I'm just saying.
There is a U.S. soccer window coming up here in a couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting to see sort of how this affects the players and the teams on the field. I don't necessarily fully expect us to have a full strength team for that camp, but so far we don't have any indication that Gio Reyna knew about any of this or was involved in any of this. People have their suspicions that he was or wasn't or whatnot, but I'm interested to see how this impacts his ability to play with the national team going forward, because you don't really want to punish a kid for the sins of their parents, but the parents can't be involved.
Definitely not. Man, oh man, these parents do not want to be in the news. The fact that this stuff keeps coming out, they're probably just like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And it's like, I don't know, count your money. Like, I'm sure you'll be fine.
They'll write a book or something.
You'll write a book and do more interviews that don't matter. Like, get out of here.
I'll go on some terrible news channel and talk about how they were canceled or something. But
yeah, oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
What I want to see, I want to be excited about the U.S. men's national team. I want to see a good sporting director hired. We know it's not going to be Peter Vermees because he turned it down. I want to see a good coach hired. And I want these next few years to be optimistic and hopeful leading into the 2026 World Cup. I'm not there yet. I don't know if I'm going to get there this year. We got to see how U.S. soccer sort of handles all this, but I would like to be hopeful about the next few years and beyond as we get World Cup games here in Kansas City in 2026. So we'll see, but it's as things stand right now, it is not the best week for the U.S. Soccer Federation.
Exactly.
So it's next Friday. We play Granada in Granada as part of the CONCACAF Nations League. So it's an actual tournament.
No shit.
Yeah. And then we host El Salvador the Monday after that.
Cool.
So, but that's all the happenings in soccer, man. It's been a wild week. I think we're both optimistic about Sporting Kansas City. Goals are probably going to come sooner rather than later. The stats would say that's the case. So hopefully we'll be back here next week with a victory pod.
Hoping so, man. Hoping so. You guys be like Jimmy and come see something rotten at Topeka Civic Theater. Jimmy's coming, man. You know what? You're also coming when Alex and Brittany are coming.
Okay.
You remember Alex at all?
Yep.
Alex Long?
Yep.
And also Chip and his girlfriend Megan.
Okay.
Chip Colmia. So Sunday is about to be lit, my friend.
No other pod showing at the Topeka Civic Theater.
You guys are going to have to get loud. Sometimes those Sunday crowds can be a little boring, a little Christian.
Am I supposed to be loud at a musical?
Oh, hoop and holler, dude. You're going to see me tap dancing. Why wouldn't you hoop and holler?
Okay. So I need to get an air horn and a big old like fathead sign of you to hold up in the crowd?
The sign, that's fucking sick. But the horn, probably not.
Okay. We'll see. Well, I'll be there. I'll be hooping. I'll be hollering.
Yeah, dude. It's good times.
It'll be fun. Yeah. Go check it out if you haven't got your tickets yet. Support our guy, Daniel Kooser.
3 weekends left. It's getting wild, man. I got sinus shit for days. Right up in here. You ever get that? Sinus pressure?
Oh, yeah.
What do you do, man? You do that saline wash, the squirt up the nose?
I've done that, or I'll just go to the store and get some like allergy nasal spray, sinus congestion spray. I think Vicks has a good sinus spray that I've used before.
I'm about to go do like a neti pot situation.
There you go.
It's gonna be weird.
Have fun. Feels like you're drowning.
That's it.
But thank you all so much for listening and for sticking with us through these first few games. Better times are on the horizon for Sporting Kansas City. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NoOtherPod, at Dan Kooser, at JCMac03. Shoot us email, nootherpod@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube, the KCSN Soccer channel. You can see us on video. Check out all of our interviews there. And leave us that 5-star rating and review. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.
Oh my God, don't cancel the Reynas.
Thanks for watching this production of KC Sports Network, the fastest growing sports media network in Kansas City. Check out these videos that feature our team of more than 15 former players, insiders, and analysts bringing you the best Chiefs coverage you can find. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.